Love Machine, John Arredondo. John, how are you this week?
Doing wonderful, and I like that title. Thank you, my friend.
That is your given title for ever and ever of the incarnation of MMA Unbound.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You know, this past weekend was pretty interesting. I mean, I was at ToyCon up in Las Vegas.
Woo!
And at the same time, there was Fight for Fury, a boxing show over there, and UFC 235.
I can't imagine the energy in the air because you have a boxing event, you got ToyCon, you got UFC,
NASCAR, and Rugby Sevens. So
oh my God.
It was just a huge international event all weekend long in Las Vegas. But to start things off, before we get to UFC, Mirko Krokop, right leg hospital, left leg cemetery, unfortunately has suffered a heart attack and has officially retired from combat sports, mixed martial arts and kickboxing.
I honestly didn't hear that. I knew you talked to me earlier before the show. When did this happen?
This happened, the announcement came on Friday.
Really?
Yeah, probably around the same time as the UFC weigh-ins going on.
And how old is Mirko?
Mirko is late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah, no 50. No, I don't even think he's still fighting, so he can't be 50.
He's 44 years old.
44, heart attack. Looks like he's in top shape. He's chiseled.
Oh, he's
right?
solid as a rock. That's when we were at Glory Kickboxing. You know, Mirko just won his fight. Still doesn't speak English very well, but he's more than happy to take pictures and hang out with his fans. Krokop was one of the most recognizable fighters in the era of mixed martial arts and kickboxing, in that you knew who he was just when Wild Boys by Duran Duran would hit.
Sure.
You know, and it was a funny song because you didn't expect somebody with a total of 34 kickboxing fights with 26 wins and then a total of 52 MMA fights with 38 wins to be coming out to such an 80s party classic.
And to think of his history, so at our age, and Mirko is just a little bit younger than me, but he would have been a part of the generation that came out of the war in that area.
Yes.
So
Mirko's a few years older than I am,
Yeah.
and the fact that he lived through the Serbo-Croatian War,
ethnic cleansing.
Fall of Albania. And it's hard to call it an ethnic cleansing because they're all Slavic people. They all share the same language.
Declared it as such. Yes. I don't know why.
It was more of a nationalistic thing, unfortunately, and I'm sad to see that it happened. But same thing happened in Lebanon. Same thing happened.
Slobodan Milosevic, that's his name, right?
And then Krokop is an abbreviation for Croatian cop. That's
I love
his
that.
nickname.
I freaking love that. When I saw him and knowing where he had come from, at that time, I was like, my goodness, this is going to be the guy, and he does have all that heart,
Oh my God. Boss Rutan was telling us stories how Mirko would go around putting old mattresses, wrapping them around trees, and just start kicking the trees, and everyone looked at him like he was crazy because he wanted to be a world kickboxing champion. Fought in K1, fought in Pride, Risen, Bellator, and of course the UFC. And Mirko, we're definitely going to miss you.
Yeah, I miss you. Glad that you're still with us, though.
Absolutely.
Suffer something like that and make the right decision, get better. Clearly, a man who works out at the top level of the food chain, so it isn't working out. Maybe it's his intake. Maybe it sometimes can be hereditary. But whatever it is, nip it in the bud. Hopefully technology can keep him here with us because I like seeing him.
Absolutely, because we just lost Luke Perry this week.
My goodness.
Yes, who's the father of Jungle Boy from All Elite Wrestling. And he supported his son for the past 10 years when he started training at 13 years old.
Unbelievable.
To become a pro wrestler.
And I dig the hair, dude. The Ted Nugent hairstyle from Jungle Boy, right?
Man. Yeah.
He's a savage animal. I
and
like
he's
that.
not the first Jungle Boy. The first Jungle Boy was in Glow with Jungle Woman. He was her ring boy.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, we lost Luke Perry, father of professional wrestler Jungle Boy. 90210 is about to get rebooted. He was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and all these other great shows. And
Riverdale.
Movies. Riverdale, I mean, it's a hit show right now. I nicknamed it Porno Archie for the first couple of episodes because it was just too dark.
I've never seen it, but hey, I'll believe you. If it's got that title, I'm watching.
Well, it was based on the Archie's comics Archie After Dark.
Yep.
And so it's gotten a much darker tone than the original Archie characters. So that's where I was jokingly calling it Porno Archie because Archie and everybody was sleeping with everyone across the board.
Got it.
And so, we lost those two this weekend, and King Kong Bundy from the WWE, WWF.
Unbelievable with that one, right?
61 years old. The man was 6'4", 390 plus pounds. Moved like a cruiserweight.
Yep.
MMA and professional wrestling. Are cousins in a sense from the entertainment value.
Yeah.
And so, luckily, we still have Krokop with us, but unfortunately, we lost Luke Perry and King Kong Bundy.
And the Prodigy.
Prodigy, yes.
Right? Can't forget that. So it doesn't work in threes. It's trying to go for 4 at the moment. So Let's all stay home because the Grim Reaper's on the loose.
Right. It's raining tonight in Southern California, so be safe out on the roads.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But now we've got to recap UFC 235.
235 UFCs. Yeah. Can you believe it? Not including the fight nights.
No, not including the fight nights.
It's unbelievable.
The next fight night's going to be on ESPN Plus.
Right.
But the opening bout on the main card was Cody Garbrandt versus Pedro Munoz.
Munoz, local boy here out of the South Bay.
Munoz won by TKO with only 8 seconds left in the round.
You know what? It was interesting. It went back and forth. It seemed like Cody had given him a little, had actually caught him, and Pedro just didn't give up. And as we've seen in the past, Cody goes in for the kill and gets knocked out.
Cody is definitely a fighter with some serious heart.
Absolutely.
Former bantamweight champion, one of the only guys ever to be able to do what he did to Dominic Cruz.
Sure.
Did not expect to see that, especially to Dominic. Dominic is one of the best fighters there is, one of the best analysts there are. Unfortunately, Dominic Cruz was injury-prone throughout his career.
Yep.
But I'm happy to see him on the mic and how eloquent he is. Gracious in defeat, humble in victory, and still one of the best trash talkers, even how soft-spoken he is.
Right.
But, Cody is a tremendous fighter, team alpha male, won the belt and was able to defend only once, but he kept his promise to that young boy with cancer. And
that's right. That was so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, when he gets the title, he comes out, he invites a young man up, puts the belt on him, and then I become a fan because I'm like, look at this guy. And I expected a lot more. Not that he's not capable, but it just didn't happen. Right. And this pattern of, he dings him. He's going in for the kill, but he's exposed. And you don't stand and bang with Pedro Munoz, obviously, because he put him out.
No.
There's a tactical error in trying to finish someone that way.
I think one of the problems is, and we discussed this last week, is that a lot of grapplers are becoming strikers and a lot of strikers are trying to become grapplers. And the idea is to be as well-rounded of a fighter as possible. Mm-hmm. But if you're, say, a Kayla Harrison, who's been doing judo since she was, let's say, 6 years old.
If that, right? Even younger probably, yeah.
2-time gold medalist
Lifetime.
in judo. Oh, absolutely. Collects arms and necks all day long, thanks to her Nawaza.
They call her Judo Kayla for a reason.
Exactly.
Judo know shit about her.
Yeah, and she suffered some serious childhood trauma. It's all in her book. Please
it's documented, yeah.
Yeah. Up until she was about 16 years old.
Yeah.
So, her striking should set up her judo, not the other way around. Judo shouldn't set up her striking. I know there are all the naysayers and the people saying, "Oh, you're just a judoka," or "Oh, you're just a jiu-jitsu fighter or a Muay Thai fighter or whatever else." That's what got you to the big show. That's what's going to keep you in the big show.
Yeah.
Unless it breaks, there's nothing to fix. And so I think Cody, being a bit more of a grappler, should still focus on his grappling and set up his wrestling with his striking.
And finish. I mean, if someone's there and they're still cognizant, right, and able to swing, don't let them take up the space. Get a hold of him, right? It's not going to have the wherewithal to fight off a submission, I don't think, if you've already dinged him pretty good, and then you can set it up. But no, he went in for the kill with his hands, left his chin up, and he got nailed.
You learn from mistakes. I mean, you still can never take away from him that he was a world champion.
Never would.
And that he's still on the title hunt. So good luck to Cody in coming back.
Right? He's still a top fighter. He's still capable of young enough to do all kinds of things.
Oh, so absolutely.
Get on it, Cody. We want to see it.
And it'd be interesting to see in about 3 or 4 fights a rematch with Munoz to see how that would go.
Right.
Especially if one of them becomes a title holder.
Right. That could possibly happen, yes.
Story writes itself.
That's what keeps it exciting. That's why we all watch. That's why we're here talking about it.
Absolutely.
You don't know what's going to happen in MMA.
No, you never know what's going to happen in MMA. And then, of course, the women's strawweight division, we had Tika Torres lose, unfortunately for her, and fortunately for Weili Zhang, in a 3-round decision fight.
Well, I'll tell you what. Tisha's a much smaller, compact, but technically proficient and just got schooled. That's my opinion.
But she's an amazing fighter, very well conditioned, very well trained.
No two ways about it.
Her spouse Raquel Pennington is a bigger fighter, fights 2 weight classes, 3 weight classes more than her. So it's very difficult to train with your own life partner at that point.
Right.
But definitely they brought in people for her to train with.
And where was Raquel? I didn't see her at the fights.
I have no idea, man.
Maybe that was her bad luck schlep rock. I don't know.
I don't know. You know, there are people that don't like their significant others to be at the fight with them. I mean, some people consider it distractions. Some people,
I get it.
hear them wince from 40 yards away,
Sure.
and then they start questioning themselves. But you never know.
Yep.
You know, or Raquel could have had a cold, and didn't want to get anybody else sick.
Could be. It's like having your mom in the room. You never know what's going to happen, right?
Well, you've seen those videos, though, with those moms coming in. Like that one kid got suplexed, or got taken down by his neck, and it was a illegal throw.
Mom jumps in the ring.
Oh, yeah. Mom jumps on the mat. That was illegal. She's not wrong, but
no. Yeah. That would be my mother.
Yes.
We both get arrested.
Oh, yeah. My mom survived a civil war. Believe me, I don't think she cared about anything.
That's rough.
And in my opinion, the fight that should have been fight of the night ended a bit controversial, according to some, but others think it was a clear victory. Ben Askren at 320 in the first round submits Robbie Lawler with a bulldog choke. I think Tiki Garson was the last person I saw to win a fight like that.
Yeah, you've trained in judo and I train jiu-jitsu considerably, and headlocks of that nature is something we train to get out of. But Ben Askren had proper posture and locked it up, and it didn't seem like Lawler was going to get out, and then the arm fell.
Yep.
And I was shocked that he didn't defend it better.
Right.
But when the arm fell, that's the signal.
That's the signal.
How do you argue?
I mean, he said, there's a clip where the thumb came up for an instant and then the arm went right back down.
Yep.
And Herb Dean did the thing that he should have done. The whole point for the referee is to be cautious and take care of the fighter. And maybe Robbie could have woken up just another split second later. We don't know. Or he could have gone out and never woken up, because just cutting off that blood to the carotid artery could do so much damage.
Right.
And I'm a fan of Herb Dean as a referee. Michael Beltran, obviously.
They're the best.
Big John, because he was the first.
Yep.
These guys know what they're doing. And if it is controversial, whether you had money on the fight or not, that could be one of your reasons for being upset.
Right.
You're a Robbie fan and you had no idea who Ben Askren was, or whatever the reason was. The safety of the fighter is first and foremost. So I don't question Herb Dean's decision on this one. No. He's had a couple of bad calls in the past, but not this one.
Let's give it up to Robbie Lawler, though. He had him on the run for the portion of the fight up until that bulldog choke. Ben was not looking so hot.
No, not at all.
And just out of nowhere pulls off this bulldog choke and finishes him.
Well, Ben's a wrestler. Ben's an Olympian.
Absolutely.
He is one of the best wrestlers on the face of the planet. He's untouchable. People were making jokes that he got off the couch with his dad bod and went in to compete. Ben Askren, even if it is a dad bod and he came in 20 pounds too heavy, and moved up 2 weight classes, is still a monster.
Yes.
So I wouldn't want to mess with Ben Askren.
You see Robbie Lawler looks like an action figure. You see Ben Askren, and it's Twinkies and donuts and pizza in the afternoon, and you're like, wait a minute, is this a proper matchup? Right. And then, of course, he finishes him, and then that's the story of fighting as we know it. It's just, you can't judge a book by its cover. It's called mixed martial arts, not just a single martial art that you can dominate. So you got to have, a bag of tricks, and Ben is a serious contender because of that wrestling background.
Oh, absolutely. Ben still needs to work on his striking, as he's admitted himself.
Yeah.
Still a fun trash talker, not a vicious one.
Sure.
So I appreciate that. He's just a smart ass, and that's what makes him fun. Hence the nickname Funky. But I would love to see Ben Askren work a little more on his striking defense, rather than just his striking.
Yeah.
Because his grappling's untouchable. And I'd love to see him at some point. I'd say 3 more fights, get a title fight in UFC, and then he'll be a Triple Crown champion. Bellator, one championship, and now the UFC.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
that would definitely be cool. Stop fighting and defending punches with your face. That's what I tell people. Yeah. That's not the best defense.
Right. But, I mean, Robbie Lawler was a beast that night. He looked like Robbie Lawler from, 10 years ago, man.
He was on fire, and I was so shocked that it stopped so early. But that can happen. Yeah. I know we'll see this again. We were going to see these two hit it again. That's got to happen.
I say, 2 more fights.
Yeah.
We'll see who gets the title fight against the new champion, Kamaru Usman.
Man, is that something else, right? Usman is now the champ.
Defeated Tyrone Woodley in a 5-round decision fight. People were accusing Woodley of spreading himself too thin. Woodley was honest about how he was working in movies and his record dropping, and he even announced in the post-fight interview that his record is dropping on Tuesday.
Right.
So I wouldn't say that he was too distracted by his extracurricular activities and other business ventures. But, some will argue that. And Usman is an amazing fighter. Just that Tyrone didn't have it on Saturday night.
I think that Tyrone put on a great performance. Mm-hmm. I do realize he's distracted. I don't know how hungry for maintaining the title he was. Usman came in loose. His movements were reminiscent of a young Anderson Silva. Mm-hmm. He was throwing unorthodox. His angles were different. He came up with things that you didn't expect to see. It was colorful. It was fun to watch. And at the end of the day, he took the title from him. I think that he underestimated him a little bit.
Absolutely. And, it's hard to underestimate somebody that talented.
Right.
And that's what happens when you do underestimate your opponent. Because the minute you give up, here's the thing when you're a prize fighter at this level. Anyone can win any single day. And on any given Saturday in the UFC, one slip, one trip, you got poked in the eye and you came back too soon while your vision's still blurry. You didn't take the full 5 minutes to recover.
That's right.
Anything can end it. Crotch shot, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, you have to be near perfect in order to become a UFC champion, an MMA fighter, boxing, judo, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, whichever combat sport, Muay Thai, Taekwondo even.
Yeah.
And Taekwondo doesn't get enough respect that it should because of the phrases McDojos. But the thing is, when you find a legitimate Taekwondo school, those kicks sting and they're annoying, man, and they're hard to defend.
Go hang out with Joe Rogan. Let him kick you.
Hang out with Joe Rogan.
That's where it came from.
Yeah. Ben Henderson.
Right. And Benson Henderson is a big Taekwondo guy.
Oh,
that's
absolutely. Right. And then we go to the main event.
Yes, unbelievable, right?
John Jones wins by unanimous decision.
Expected from my opinion, but...
Yes, but we do owe Anthony Smith an apology.
Right? I thought he'd get knocked out. He fought his heart out.
We both thought that the fight would end in the first round.
Yes, I did.
And Anthony Smith proved, without a shadow of a doubt, that he is a hang-and-bang competitor and deserved that title fight and deserves to be in the title contention picture.
He belongs where he is, and he fought for it, and he's not to be underestimated.
After eating 2 illegal knees and kicks on top of it. And it was a 2-point deduction rather than calling for the disqualification.
You know it. Yeah, that was an interesting fight. Jones, of course, has a lot to prove because of the question mark with all of the testing that goes on. But he did what we thought Jones would do, and that's win.
Jones is an unbelievable fighter, and I don't think he needs all the extracurricular activities that go on in his private life.
Right.
But to be that good while having substance abuse issues, allegedly. Well, I mean,
they did
find
proved it. You're not going to find even one increment of cocaine in my blood,
right?
Because I didn't do it.
Right.
But if they find that, even that smidgen, right, then something's going on.
So
at some point,
absolutely. And so John Jones just proved himself to be the GOAT. Unfortunately, sometimes you're your own worst enemy. And John's always been nice to me the 2 times that I've met him.
Yeah.
So I can't say anything bad about him personally.
Yeah.
I know DC doesn't like him, and quite a few fighters don't like his antics.
Sure.
Do you honestly think that we should continue to test for PEDs if John keeps getting, a slide across the board going, okay,
yeah,
that everybody else should just be like, screw it and give us our chance too?
Yeah, there has to be a standard. They have to adhere to it.
Yeah.
He's a terrible example.
Yeah.
He's a terrible role model. I think this is his chance. If he blows it again, I don't know that there's any redemption after this. Fight your way to the top. You're there, buddy, and stick with it. Everybody likes to watch your interesting style of fighting, and we know that the potential to be untouchable is there, but we'll see.
But do you think that if John, excuse me, I have this slight cough.
Yeah, it's all good.
That if John is let go from the UFC, Brave, Bellator,
I'll
Rizin,
get him.
They're all there to pick him up anyway.
He knows he's going to eat one way or the other.
So it's kind of like we let him slide and he stays in the UFC. We kick him out, he goes somewhere else. So it's one of those situations.
Well, that's the world we're in right now. There's a lot of promotions out there. UFC is top of the food chain as we all know it. Bellator is right behind them, but only by a small margin.
Yeah.
Definitely picking up great fighters that people want to see. And there's the difference. We're bringing up, it seems like the new up-and-coming go to the UFC. They're gravitating towards it.
Yeah.
But the guys that we want to see fight have a tendency to be on Bellator, and those cards are really cool.
Yeah, and now One Championship is starting to make an impact in the United States. They have that deal with Bleacher Report, and the highlight shows are on TNT right after.
So my man Robert Samo's down there. He's in downtown LA, and he goes to the One Championship, not One FC, One Championship Expo, because they're showing things off here in the States. They want to get things moving. Who knows what the future is? He meets all kinds of fighters, gets all kind of footage. We showed it on our last show. Yep. But he's right. One FC is coming up, and I do suspect that there'll be a major player in the U.S. at some point here.
Yeah, and Miesha Tate said the one thing that I completely agree with. Those of us that are fans of the fight sport are kind of tired of the trash talking to get you a title fight. That's too professional wrestling-esque, in my opinion, and in Misha's opinion.
I like that you say that because you're a fan of pro wrestling, so you get it
more
than anybody.
I mean, Conor McGregor is doing, a Ric Flair circa 1987.
Sure.
And it worked great in the NWA. But I don't want to always see that in mixed martial arts. I want to see the best people fight each other. PFL, has set that up with their tournament. One has brought in Demetrius Johnson, the pound-for-pound greatest champion ever. Yeah. Even though he's 125 pounds, if he was a heavyweight or, lightweight or higher, everyone would respect him 10 times more than they already do. Which
never got what he deserved because of his pint size.
Yeah. I gave him one of our Fanboy Nation T-shirts, and it was a medium, and he's like, I'll make it work.
I love it.
Because it was too big for him.
One day I'll make a medium work from the opposite end of the spectrum.
But with all these, people that don't like to trash talk, I spoke with Bobby Perez III, 15-year-old wrestler who trained with Chris Cyborg for her last 3 fights. And Helen, who won the gold medal, first ever woman to win a U.S. gold medal in wrestling. My headline when she won the Olympics was that Greek-American wrestler competes in, ancient ancestry sport and dominates.
I like that idea. I like the sound of that, because you're talking about martial arts in their original state from people that are carrying it forward with their ancestry. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And Helen was amazing. We spoke both with Bobby and his father, Robert. I think we should play clip 1 of Robert Perez if we get a chance, because Bobby will be co-hosting a clinic with Orange County Grappling.
Exciting.
March 16th and March 30th for Greco-Roman wrestling.
Love that.
Valentin Kalika was her coach. So they went to school, I guess, and then they know who Bobby was, so they went and found him at a school, and because people when they wrestled Helen, they wanted to beat her, or if Helen took her down, they try to, they wanted to get back at her. But Bobby, he don't care, Bobby, if he lost, if he won, but we try to play it cool, and that's how he got the job. Right. And then so he was training her, and then after that it was Chris Cyborg. So he started. He trained with her for 3 fights. So that was like the big deal. So he was a training partner for wrestling.
Yeah. So this 15-year-old kid wrestles 145-pound weight division. Cyborg fights in 145-pound featherweight division in MMA and kickboxing, and Bobby was co-training her with his Greco-Roman skills. He has 19 national titles.
Unbelievable. At that level, 16 years old, geez. And with Cyborg, so he's got to be a Huntington Beach kid or somewhere in the area.
He's a Southern California kid. You know, very humble child, and I use the term child loosely because he's a savage on the mat.
Yeah.
But when we hear from Bobby in just a second, you'll realize how humble and soft-spoken he is, because Bobby tends to be a bit of an introvert until he gets onto the mat.
Sure. That's his home.
Yeah, and this is Bobby talking about what he'll be working on at OCG, Orange County Grappling, March 16th and March 30th.
I stay grounded because there's always someone better than me. I just try to keep getting better and better to be as good as them. We're just going to show a lot of moves, a lot of attacking moves, counters.
And that's how soft-spoken Bobby is, that we had to crank up the volume on the conversation, and it was still kind of soft.
Yeah.
But he will also be coaching with Bruce Gabrielson, who is one of only a handful of people to be in the Surf Hall of Fame and Wrestling Hall of Fame in Southern California.
I did not realize that. That's pretty cool.
And Bruce is an amazing coach. He's been wrestling since his youth and continues to coach people, and was coached at ASU and everywhere else. So, you got some amazing company at OCG those 2 weekends.
I wish I would have been there. Now I want to go out and see these seminars. So you may catch us out there.
March 16th,
right?
Saturday, March 16th, and Saturday, March 30th.
Coming up quick.
Yes. Unfortunately, I will be out of town on the 16th during St. Patrick's Day, and on the 30th, I will be at WonderCon and a judo seminar.
Woo!
Yeah.
WonderCon.
So,
I wonder what goes on in the after hours of WonderCon myself.
A lot of people party it up, and then others just get super tired, and from walking around and being at the panels. So it's a mixed bag,
right?
But, it's a great time. And Robert, you got something for us?
Yeah, James Dominguez from the Punchline.
Woo, James Dominguez, my homeboy.
All right.
Have not seen you in a month or two, buddy, but you're out there with Kelly Pavlik. We love you guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for being a part of the show.
We love the Punchline, man.
Gotta
People
watch
check
the
it out.
Oh,
right?
always check it out. Gotta take care of everybody out there.
That's right.
You know what? Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 5 is going back to Mississippi. And that's definitely going to be an interesting show.
It seems appropriate that you have a show like Bare Knuckle in Mississippi.
Oh, yeah. It took 120 plus years to bring back Bare Knuckle to the United States. It's now sanctioned only in a handful of states. And we have Artem Lobov versus Jason Knight in the main event. It was just one of those shows, or it's one of those shows that we're just really excited to see, because on top of that, we were sent an interview by Bare Knuckle that was conducted with Krista Smolden, and this is a clip of Artem talking about Jason, and it's quite interesting in what he had to say.
And I'm ready to just go out there and do it.
All right, thanks. All right, back to you, Artem. You told the guys from Knockout Radio that you were going to hand them Jason Knight's jaw after the fight in exchange for some gear.
Let me start by saying this. I respect Jason a lot as a fighter. He was a top 10 featherweight in the UFC. This is not an easy achievement. Very few people manage to achieve that. So I give him his props for that. And I feel April 6th, we're going to have a very competitive MMA fight. Oh, no, hold on a second. It's bare knuckle we're doing. Sorry, Jason, here. Fuck Dan, mate. We would have had a competitive fight if it was MMA, but this is not. This is real fighting. This is the bare knuckle. So April 6th, it's Night Jason.
Is this guy for real?
Jason, I'm going back to you.
I didn't hear 100% what he said, but I heard the respect part. I'm going to give him that back, 100%.
Don't worry about hearing it. April 6th, you won't be able to see it either.
All right, guys, hold on a minute. Jason.
Some fun international trash talking. It's great to see Artem saying some things that don't translate very well to English, but it's still entertaining when it's especially when it's a bilingual situation like this. But bare knuckle, has made a comeback, and it seems, yes, it's a niche market for combat sports.
Yeah. We all want to see it. Come on. If you like fights, you want to see that knockout. You want to see bare knuckle.
Right.
It is brutal.
Absolutely.
It's going to be bloody.
Yes.
And people are going to break their hands because there's no protection.
What people don't realize is that gloves weren't implemented in boxing to protect the fighter's face. It was to protect the fighter's hand. Mm-hmm. How many knuckles and fingers did we see broken in the last bare knuckle fight in Mexico, USA versus Mexico?
Yeah, I can't even count the appendages that were flying off the stage.
Oh, my God. Diesel Riggs broke his hand in the first round and kept going all the way through. So
yeah, and you bring up a valid point. We were talking about something earlier, and I wanted to make that point, and this is kind of a good segue into that, is that fighters will fight through those disadvantages because you're not always 100% come fight day because you had 6 weeks of fight camp, and if you have a good enough training camp, they're going to push you.
Oh, absolutely.
And things are going to be strained, things are going to be sprained, and things are going to be broken, and you're still going to fight. And you're going to fight through it, and no matter what, 3 or 5 rounds, at the end of that, you've given your all and you push through it.
Oh, absolutely. There were guys in high school who tore their MCL in a wrestling tournament preseason. And, you know, they were about to win the tournament with 30 seconds left. You hear that MCL pop, and the coach is like, keep going.
Yeah.
You know, you came this far. Well, your season's done because of an MCL tear, but you won that tournament.
Yeah.
You know, or at least try to on point.
Finish.
Oh, absolutely. So it's always an interesting situation in how things go that way. But, you know, I don't blame people like Riggs. I don't blame anybody. Broken foot. Anderson Silva broke his foot when he fought Chael Sonnen. So it's one of those things. Yeah. But this bare knuckle boxing thing, it's definitely interesting. It definitely has a place in combat sports. It was sanctioned in the United Kingdom for so long, or underground in the States. Might as well have it be done legally if we can.
That's right. And give people an idea what it means to be punched in the face. So they don't really know. No. I mean, boxing gloves, it does take its toll, but you're gonna cut somebody open real quick. There's gonna be a lot more of a bloody mess.
Oh, absolutely.
Involved in this. So yeah, you're gonna know what fighting is all about if you're gonna watch this. You know.
Well, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, point sparring, karate. They tape your knuckles up first, and then they put the gloves on. Bare knuckle, some of them don't even tape the wrist. Some of them will tape the wrist around the thumb, and that's it. Some of them nothing at all.
Yeah,
and they just go out there, and it looks like a bar fight. But these are all trained professionals, and they know what they're doing in a fight. So it's always interesting to see.
Yeah, and there's precision with the way they throw. People forget this as well. They know exactly what they're aiming for.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah. Liver kicks. You know, when they're punching and they're kicking and they're aiming for your head, they're going to take you out decisively.
Yeah, I don't want to be hit by anybody in one of the bare knuckle fights.
No, hell no. Those guys are savage animals. I just know that you're going to get it.
Yeah, that's why I went into grappling, because I don't like getting punched.
Yeah, well, I could see that. You know, it's one of those things. It's a great skill to have, though, especially with that judo.
Yes. You know, you hit them with the plank.
Oh, man.
You know.
Sometimes you pick someone up, you throw them, they get so off balance because people aren't used to flying.
No.
And that can end it.
Yeah.
Not always, but I'm telling you, it can put somebody out.
Well, like what we'd love to see at some point is the return to one art between Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and you know, Kodokan Judo.
That's right.
And just the lineage that's connected there. We would love to see at some point the major crossover come between the two, because fighting off your back in BJJ is amazing if you can do it, but you got to get them to the ground, and that's where judo and wrestling helps. So
that's a fact.
Actually, before we segue into a couple of things, you know, wrestling is going to be in the Olympics again 2020. We almost lost it.
It's a mainstay. It should never be a question.
The 4 sports that should never be questioned in the Olympics or ever eliminated are wrestling, track and field, swimming, and I would say at some point cross-country running.
Sure.
You know.
Sure, I can see that.
Those are the 4 that should always be the foundation of the Olympics.
Otherwise, don't call it the Olympics. Call it something else. Go take part in that whole thing somewhere else. But the Olympics, as we know it, comes from Greece and have those basic tenets to stand for. And those are, I mean, come on. That's Roman Greco wrestling. We know.
And, you know, the talk is bringing in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu into the Olympics. And I think I have a solution from a fanboy ideology.
Let's hear.
We're getting our Jaws theme on that one.
Something going on up there with the production.
We get 2 tournaments.
Okay.
You know, no-gi grappling style tournament for which will include wrestling, no-gi BJJ, no-gi judo, submissions allowed, pins allowed. And then we get submission grappling that includes catch wrestling, judo, and jiu-jitsu as well. So we kind of create these 2 other sports based on the 3 main grappling arts that we have, and kind of bring in the three related grappling arts into one body.
Grappling is grappling, and they don't have to call it jiu-jitsu, judo, sambo. They don't have to call it anything. Just call it grappling, and integrate, like you said. And incorporate some of those rules, and you're gonna benefit from knowing all of those things, right?
Absolutely.
And that's where it grows, and that conjoining of styles will take place.
Right.
So maybe you're onto something here.
And then that way we have one gi, one no gi.
Right.
So it'll be very interesting if that could ever happen at some point, and people put their pride on the side and their love of their own style on the side.
Yeah, I love the no gi idea because for spectatorship, no gi's fast pace. Gi's wonderful for people that are on the inside, but
Yep.
people that don't know are going to be like, these guys are in their pajamas, and it's going about 2 miles an hour.
Absolutely.
So that may not be Olympic savvy enough.
Right.
You know,
but then, you know, when we wrestled in singlets, everyone's like, oh, these guys are in their tights.
Oh,
instead
gosh,
of, you know,
yeah.
board shorts.
That's
So,
right.
You know, we'll figure something out in
I hope
the future.
so. I hope so. And I think you're onto something. So if you're onto that, I can only imagine what the guys upstairs are doing. So
well, hopefully they'll listen to us at some point.
I hope so.
But we're going to move on to some fun news. Well, it's all been fun, but
Yeah.
this is a little more, you know, cheeky, shall we say. LFC, the Lingerie Fighting Championship.
My new favorite thing.
I refer to it as burlesque MMA. It's a lot of fun. 25 shows have been in the can.
Mm-hmm.
They've even...
In the can.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Forgive me for that one. That was completely unintentional.
I love
But
it.
again, we got the Jiu-Jitsu Love Machine with us.
That's right.
So how else is
That's
it gonna
right.
be?
I'm not going to miss a damn thing.
Yeah. 25 shows. Last one was at Sam's Town in Las Vegas.
Love Sam's Town.
Got called into the Nevada State Athletic Commission for running an illegal MMA show.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is it illegal? Because they're half naked?
Well, no, because they thought it was a legit shoot MMA show,
Oh.
not realizing that it's an
It's
entertainment
lingerie.
show. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So they had to testify in front of the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was a great show. It was a lot of fun. LFC. I'm sorry. There's we don't want to mix the two.
No. They're very different.
Yes, LFC puts on a great show. Here's an actual clip from one of the earlier LFCs. I believe this is LFC 20.
We say a lot of times you have athletes and you have fighters. Ladoy is definitely an athlete. She's fantastic. You see the skill and the technique there, but she's going to have to deal with the fighter. Fogel, they return to the feet. Steph, Ladoy walking around with a little bit of swagger. I like it. Hands down, talking a little bit. Halfway through the first round.
Going for the single leg, now the double leg, and successful.
Beautiful takedown there from Ladoy. Setting up her opponent's guard.
I'm not sure. I think so.
Big
The
shots.
midsection.
Wow, the aggression. We haven't seen this before out of Ladoy. She's got an edge tonight.
Those shots in the midsection, that'll just take the energy right from you. Because if you can't breathe, you can't fight.
So
Pretty
that is
cool.
Oh yeah. So that's the LFC based out in Las Vegas.
I'm worried about silicone bursting with those strikes. Takedowns.
Some may not have issue with it.
My
You know,
goodness.
some are man-made, some are God-given. So,
Yeah.
that was Lauren Fogel was the blonde in that fight wearing the knee brace. No, but LFC. Sorry, I've covered so many LFA fights that I keep throwing out their call letters. Please forgive me, Legacy Fighting Alliance. Lingerie Fighting Championship 26 is the start of their booty camp series, where these are their essentially house shows. They're homegrown shows, and they will be held at the Nerd in downtown Las Vegas off Fremont Street.
Exciting.
Yes.
I'll be there to conduct interviews.
Absolutely. The Nerd is a theme bar. Excuse me.
Yeah, tell me about the Nerd. What's up with that name?
So it's designed for comic fans,
Mm-hmm.
cosplay fans, pro wrestling, and MMA fans. So Fanboy Nation
Fits right in.
fits right in. This should be our home away from home
I'm
in
in.
Las Vegas.
I can't say Fanboy Nation without showing off
Oh,
the t-shirt.
absolutely.
And it
Yeah.
certainly does resemble my co-host.
Yes. Same haircut and all.
Right?
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah. So it's one of those things, there's going to the first show over there of the Booty Camp series is Thursday, April 4th. And then there's a show again in June on June 20th, July 5th, August 15th, September 19th, all Thursday shows.
Cool.
Giving you time to recover for the long Vegas weekend from one night of entertaining burlesque MMA, shall we say. And then the granddaddy of them all is the Halloween-themed Thursday, October 30th show.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all in Vegas.
All in Vegas.
Yes.
There's going to be several more shows coming up.
Cool.
That are going to be across the United States and possibly internationally. But this is the Booty Camp series, and these are the dates that will be there. Doors open every night at 7. The punches start being thrown at 8 p.m. And this is exactly what we're looking for in having fun with mixed martial arts, with burlesque, pro wrestling, cosplay, comics, costumes, everything under the sun. So if you want to have fun, you want to go enjoy yourself, you want a bit of a campy show that still has some hard hits and some hard throws, then Lingerie Fighting Championship is definitely one to just kick back, have a few beers, and enjoy.
And see Fanboy Nation, my man Robert Samo, we're going to be out there at some of these events, so hit us up.
We're shooting for the June show for sure.
All right. I like that idea. July even sounds good because it's during the fight week.
Unfortunately, I can't. That's my mom's birthday week.
Oh, sorry, Mama.
Got to take care of Mom.
That's good. That's important.
But we got to close the show out with the movie of the week.
Okay.
All right.
Look at these fighters.
Oh, look at these fighters.
Goodness.
Actually, Robert, go ahead and put up some.
Yeah, let's not close out
these. There's Jenny Bloody Valentine. There's Lauren Fogel. There's Allie Parks. There's so many of these talented ladies that have also competed in professional wrestling, fitness models, gymnastics. Some of them train in Krav Maga. Some train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. These are women that have some skills.
I could tell.
And
absolutely. But no, their fight stance was good.
Yes.
Takedown was solid. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
Changed levels and then went for that single leg. That was interesting. It looked like she exposed herself to being kicked in the face, but this is lingerie, so luckily she didn't.
Yes. And so this is the type of stuff that you get to enjoy with Lingerie Fighting Championship. Since it will be at the Nerd, I presume the shows will be 18 and over, 21 and over, just because the risque outfits.
I like it. And you know what? I saw when Robert put the Nerd up there that it's free bowling, free billiards. If you're not going to be watching the event, there's plenty to do. So just go down and have fun if you're not into it.
And they have their own built-in cage at the Nerd. Man. So, yeah, they have their own MMA cage at the Nerd.
I love that.
So this is definitely a place you want to check out when you hit up Vegas.
That's cool. There's already so much to do, but now I got one more thing on my list.
One more thing, man. And we're going to be staying downtown one day.
Yeah, hell
so
yeah.
We'll be good to go.
Oh, I like to be downtown. That's true.
Yeah. But this week, fight of the week, movie of the week.
Movie of the week.
Martial arts movie of the week is Triple Threat.
Okay.
This is a movie starring Tony Jaa, Michael Jai White, the Count Michael Bisping, and a whole host of other martial arts celebrities of cinema and the actual ring in this clip that Robert's about to show to us.
There's a cost here. Think twice before you continue. Put it on my credit card. Remember me? Tonight. Shock and awe, baby.
That's cool.
Oh, man. Martial arts mercenaries. How can we not want to see this movie?
That looks like a throwback to kind of 80s style martial arts film, so I like that thing going on.
Oh, yeah. And they light them up and everything goes. You know? That's what matters. Excuse me. Triple Threat actually will be released for one night only in theaters on Tuesday, March 19th, and then drops on VOD that Friday, March 22nd.
Cool.
Distributed from Wellgo USA Entertainment. So, if you want your martial arts fix, you want a bit of Wing Chun, Muay Thai, Chinese ballet, everything under the sun. Selena Jade, Tiger Chen, all these people are in this film. Scott Atkins. So this is a who's who of martial arts films internationally that we're going to get to have fun with and talk about next week after we've seen it.
I got to see it. So it's one of those things. I've been missing the action-packed movies like Lethal Weapon and Die Hard, and this is going to be one of those kind of movies. And
the fact that Michael Jai White has 7 different black belts in various martial arts.
Right?
We have the Count Michael Bisping, former UFC middleweight champion. Tony Jaa, Thai boxer and ballet dancer. Actually, that's how he gets to be able to do some of those kicks. So, go out on the 19th to watch the movie, or wait till Friday and catch it on VOD in the comfort of your own home without people playing with their text messages and phones set to bright.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, that is our show this week. Again, thank you to John, the Jiu-Jitsu Love Machine Arredondo.
Come on, man.
I'm Robert Samo. Robert on the computer and our producer, thank you so much for everything.
The Polynesian Panda.
Oh, yeah. And we will see you next week. Take care, guys.
Thank you.